What's going on? It's your boy Alex. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. And today I'm going to give away the secret to one of my favorite books, alright? So this author has actually written two of my favorite books. His name is Napoleon Hill. My first one is Outwitting the Devil, okay? That's one of my favorite books. That's a very good book. Here is Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich basically it's one of the keys to success, right? And through the entire book, he alludes to a point, and he says, I'm not going to tell you what the secret to success is. I'm going to have you put it together. So I'm not going to do an entire book review because I want you guys to just read this, but I am going to tell you what the secret is because I feel like it makes the book better when you read it again, when you know what that secret is. Y'all ready for the secret to success? Or at least one of the biggest secrets to success? Boom, here it is, imagination. Imagination. Now I know some of y'all thinking, well, that's stupid. That don't make sense, Alex. What's so powerful about imagination? Well, I'm going to explain it to you. I told this story before, but I'm going to break it down really quick to get to a point in this particular video. All right? I knew when I was like 7 what my purpose was. I knew I wanted to make movies. I knew I wanted to write stories because I knew I was very creative, okay? If you guys go and look up a video by Jordan Peterson which talks about the translation between intelligence and music, I think it's called How Intelligence Translates to Music, Music Translates to Intelligence. But either way, he talks about how it's very specific for people to be a creative. Most people who are creatives and make dents in the universe by creating, like, whether it be music or dance or movies or scripts or books or whatever the case may be, even YouTube, right? They typically have an IQ in 120 and above range, right? So I knew as a kid I wanted to be a creative. I wanted to write. I wanted to make movies. I used to play with my toys, make stories, right? But my sister and my mom told me, you ain't going to be able to be a writer because that's too hard, okay? You don't have the mental capacity to do that. So it knocked me back a little bit. I kind of started to get into like a little bit of a career mode a little bit. I didn't really get back into my writing, my creative side until I ran into a particular teacher who told me that I was a really good writer. I told her I wanted to be a writer, and she's like, why don't you just start writing? So at the age of 23, after I graduated college, I said, you know what? I got this really good story. I'm just going to write it down. I wrote it down in a trailer form, went out to California, ran to this chick who knew this other chick that I went out to California with because it was a group of like 5 of us. Turns out she worked for HBO. She read my script. She liked it. I went, took it to HBO. I did not get picked by HBO to put the story out, but it motivated me to make my first movie, which is called No Man's Land, and put that movie onto Amazon and Quiet TV. And guess what? Not only am I now a director, but I've told a whole story. I have a whole 2-hour film out. And that came out of where? My brain, my imagination. Because before I actually made this movie, guys, I thought it up in my head. I could see scenes with actors before I actually even met the actor or the person who told the story. And I knew what story I wanted to tell, and I visualized how I wanted to tell it. And before I even got to that point, when I was a child, I knew I wanted to tell stories. I started it with toys, and that all comes from imagination. Before you guys could do anything, you have to imagine it. I repeat, before you guys can do anything, you have to imagine it. It always starts up here first. When you cut off your imagination, you basically make yourself a bot. You basically say, I'm just going to go to work, I'm going to come home, and I'm going to eat, and I'm going to watch TV, because I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. And you limit yourself on life, because people who tend to be creative not only tend to be good listeners, but they tend to think abstract and want to do abstract things. You want to go outside and start hiking. You want to go climb trees. You want to jump out of planes. You want to travel. You want to live life. You don't want to just go to work and then be in your box all day, stressed out, worried about everything. All right? And it all comes from imagination. Imaginative people tend to want to do a lot of stuff in life. They tend to want to do a lot of stuff in life, man, and just in general. See, imagination is the biggest key to success. Before every business was a business, it was somebody's thought first. Before every company became a company, it was someone's thought first. Every movie, every dance, every sports team even. I want to have a sports team, and I want to call them the Cavaliers, and here's how I thought of the colors. Everything comes back to imagination. Before you get into a relationship, it goes back to imagination, guys. Because you imagine who you want to be with. And you imagine what type of person you want them to be. Your kids go back to imagination. Because you imagine what you want your kids to look like. And you imagine how you want your kids to act. So the key to success, the key to manifesting the life you want is to imagine it. It also keeps you from getting depressed. Like I said, getting anxiety, because if you've got nothing else, you might not have no money in the bank. You get what I'm saying? You might not have no girl. You might be sleeping in your car or outside, but you got a plan. You got a vision, and you pushing towards something. And universal law says if you push towards something, especially if you do it hard enough, the universe doesn't have a choice but to give it to you, guys. I'm Alex, and I'm out. Peace. Use that imagination.